Female
We're on.
bodybuilding channel, Spain, WrapUp. We have two guests. First, we're going to introduce Hagit, IFBB Pro women's bodybuilder, and coach, gym owner, and now also the owner of the MPC in Israel, Hagit.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was very, yeah.
You define it right. Okay. Nothing to add.
And then, JB, we are welcomed by the fastest rising women's bodybuilding channel in the world.
Universe.
From hardcore female bodybuilding channel, Claudio, you've been killing the game lately and stealing all our viewers.
well, I'm still far away from you guys. So, but I'm trying. I'm trying to catch up. So, thank you for inviting me in this wrap up. And yeah, it's an honor.
We're going to talk about the women's bodybuilding at Spain. First of all, JB, talk to us a little bit about the promoter, JB. He put women's bodybuilding over the 212 class. So he put out the guys to have room for the female bodybuilders. Sadly, only 4 girls showed up. But JB, talk to us about Emilio Martinez a little bit.
Yeah, Emilio Martinez is a very, very, very experienced bodybuilder from back in the days. He was also a very, very successful world champion at the former IFBB amateurs. And then he caught a chance, I think 15 years ago or something, to put on his own business with EMPRO, and started to also promoting shows for the IFBB Pro League. So the EMPRO is, I think, 10 years old or something, but don't catch me on that. But from the beginning, he was had the voice for women's bodybuilding, women's figure, and so on, and never dropped it since, and was only one time, but I think it was just from occasionally because I don't know what happened. But since then, constantly, she had always at minimum two times a year women's bodybuilding pro classes in, and that's the only one in Europe that like that. So I'm very thankful for that.
And just for the viewers, as a promoter, Hagi, you will finally find that out soon as a pro league promoter, that the promoters, they have to pay the same sanction fees, even if it's 1 girl or 20 guys for the class.
Exactly.
So, it's a big deal, Emilio, having the girls there.
We'll have to choose between the divisions, and it's very frustrating when you pay for division and only 3 or 4 people are coming.
Yeah,
very sad.
Very sad. But anyway, Spain, it was hot. Claudia was there, Hagit was there, AJ was there, JB was there, and Gina, you watched it. You've seen all the highlights, so we're gonna get your opinion also. First, 4 girls are in, and Claudio.
Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second.
Yep.
Welcome, Gina Caballero, Adrian. Thank you for your time.
There you go.
Welcome.
Okay, let's go.
Claudio.
Yes.
First of all, we saw 4 girls. Let's take a look at firstly 2 girls. They were never in the middle. 2 completely different physiques. We can talk about the last place finisher first, Claudio. What were you thinking? Josefa from Sweden. First impression.
I saw Josefa already in Romania. I think it was 2022. If I remember correctly, and she took a few years of season to grow and come back. She looked good, but still not at the level of her opponents. I think she had good size. Definitely, the size was her strong part. Maybe the conditioning, she has to work a little bit more on that. But, she's a great athlete and amazing potential. Plus, she's young. She's got a great future, for sure. So we would like to see her again very soon.
Gina, what do you think? She went away for 3 years. And when you've been for that long, you want to reach that condition, I would imagine. Where you, what do you think? How would you rate her conditioning at this show?
Yeah, so conditioning wasn't quite there. Definitely needed to bring a sharper package. We definitely saw it in the posterior. Not a whole lot of, quad separation. The other thing I think that probably put her in that fourth spot is we weren't really seeing the density with that muscle. I would like, see some more size there. She's definitely brought some improvements since the last time we saw her.
That's true.
But going up against Martina, the kind of mass she's bringing, so that's what I'm lacking there.
Hagit, you saw in third place a huge female, Elisabetta, with good conditioning.
Yeah.
And then you see Josefa, great structure, very feminine. Did you see the same class? Did you see, what were your, with them two there? That matchup, Elisabetta and Josefa, how did you see that? Was there a big difference, or what's your opinion as a female bodybuilder?
Yes, of course there was a big difference. Actually, I was surprised with the judges' decisions. I would have put Elisabetta second, not the first one, because she, how to say it, she was in a good condition, not that good, but especially not to be the third, to be the second. And that is the Josefa, if you compare their size, so Elisabetta was much more size that is required from a bodybuilding division. That's the problem. What they're scoring for size, shape, or proportion, and it wasn't clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to tell. Yeah.
JB, Elisabetta, that's JB and myself. We are into size. You saw Elisabetta.
Actually, yeah, that's the division.
Yeah.
Eventually.
JB, you saw Elisabetta, tremendous size, second best condition she was in far better condition than, for instance, the winner, Martina. But she was never moved into the middle. I felt like she didn't even get a look. Do you think it has something to do with her? Her presentation is very masculine. She's not smiling. She's not putting on a wig. She's not putting on any makeup. You think she doesn't look like she wants to be there, JB. Do you think this is something that the judges look at, or do you think that it has no effect?
I think it had effect, because when she came on stage, it was, like you said, she doesn't want to be there. We had that feeling. But the other way, I expect from her body, I couldn't say, okay, wow, yes, but like I said, this was she was very uncomfortable on stage. I think she has to practice more to be on stage. So do more competitions, just one or two a year or something. Just go on stage and try it out. Get the feeling to.
I think the charisma affects a lot.
And one minute I even thought that she's going to start to cry or something, but I don't know.
Really?
And this was
it's just how she is. I know her for a few years. I was on stage with her several times. She's just.
But how do you then? How do you change that? I know, Gina, you are prepping another girl with Helle. Her name is what's her name? The big one from. She has the same problem. What is her name, Gina? The girl that did Romania.
Well, Victoria.
She is the exactly same thing. It's very. Do you try to? Is there something you can do with an athlete like this? Is there something we can do as a coach? Because I've tried, and she just smiled and said yes, and her girlfriend said we're trying, but it's almost like they refuse to. What's going on with that, Gina?
Yeah, so I mean, certainly personalities show through on stage, right? We see somebody who's far more comfortable. It's readily, noticeable when somebody is very comfortable on stage. So, we also have to think about it. This is a presentation. So if you're not one of those people that are automatically comfortable on stage in front of an audience, you need to perform, right? This is a show. So it means getting character. And so that's even for girls that don't like being up there and perhaps just don't smile a lot in general. Well, guess what? On stage, you're going to beam on stage and you're going to
play the game.
that you it may not be you, but you're a performer when you step on that stage, and it absolutely impacts your presentation. We want to see happy, smiling athletes. We don't want to see the occasional smile every third pose. So, as
it's
coach,
like part of the posing.
Press this upon the athlete, but I think it just becomes intrinsic. I think for some, it's scary, it's uncomfortable. It just overrides being able to perform. So now we're saying, okay, get on stage several times a year. You need practice, so it's performance, replication, and it's practice. It's practicing your craft. And there's so many pieces that go into this craft that we call bodybuilding.
And also one thing I noticed was even the walking was lacking that elegance that the other athletes had on stage. And I think all these little details judges take into consideration, because size-wise, she's got it all. But
JB, before we go into the top two, just a quick question. Everyone can say, where did you have Elisabetta? JB, where did you have her?
On 2.
Claudio? I'm still 3 because of all these things we've just said. Otherwise, could be.
I think she should have been the second.
Gina?
I had her in third. The other thing that I would critique would be when we talk about shape, and I would like to see that waist come in a bit. So we're really looking for those small waist and that great X frame, and so that's something that she can definitely improve upon. So I think
Gina, she was dwarfing these other girls in muscle mass. Gina, women's Gina, it was like whoa.
No, but we've had this conversation so many times. There's so many pieces. It's just not mass.
Exactly, and also condition. She has way better condition than some of the other girls. Way better.
But Gina's right, because what I missed on Elisabetta's shape was the back. She has a good detailed back, but the width, I don't know.
Thickness,
wasn't there.
But you still had her second, JB, I said you heard.
Yes, of course.
In that line, on that line.
In women's bodybuilding, it's not as many comparisons, sadly. It doesn't go it doesn't take the time as a bikini. Bikini, we getting 100 call outs. We get they're moving, they're switching from 10 to 8 to 9. Women bodybuilding, it's over in a second. Pop, and it's gone. And that's what we saw with the top two. First of all, Hogget, top two, very fast, straight to the point, but what did you see in the top two? Romana from the UK, she was in phenomenal condition, and Martina, more of a smaller but bubbly and very nice symmetry. Upper body, lower body really matches.
I don't agree about the symmetry. She had a very long torso with short legs and hands and arms. I don't agree with that symmetry. Actually, in my opinion, she should have been third. Not of the symmetry, not of the condition, and not of that size. That's it. I was very surprised with.
So you were very, very surprised that Martina won.
Yeah, very surprised.
Okay.
Yeah, because
so you don't think this the roundness or the bubbly, like she has that round look. But you don't think
that's obvious, like that should have make her win. Like she was round, but comparing to the size of Elisabetta and the condition of the others, I don't know.
So
Yeah.
she wasn't as hard as you were hoping for a winner.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also in comparison to Romana, we had me and Claudio had Romana winning. So, but
Yeah.
but it was
Mainly for the conditioning. Yeah.
Yeah, because also we had Melinda in the judging panel. We also had Reggiana in the judging panel. So that was a little bit, for me, it was surprising because Reggiana normally judges the other way, more in direction to Josefa, you know, his feminine style, you know what I mean? So it was, I don't know. Maybe we had
Okay, firstly, Claudio, how did you see it, Claudio? And then we can go JB and then Gina. Claudio, how did you see Romana and Martina?
And Martina, yeah. Well, Romana, first of all, this was her debut in WBB. So she was still debating until like 6 months ago which division to enter. So this was like a test for her to figure out which was the division that would fit her best. And now she's got the confirmation, also speaking with Dan, her partner and coach, that she's definitely going to continue on women's bodybuilding. And the plan, she told us that she's gonna increase the size. Conditioning wise, she got it nailed, I believe. And I think if she carry on like that, she can get to the Olympia this year. All depends when she's planning to compete, because she hasn't decided yet which show. But I think she's got that potential. While regarding Martina, well, I mean, Martina, I like that roundness. I like that sort of old school physique, maybe not as hard and conditioned like Romana, but I think her appeal, her look, her elegance in the posing,
the routine.
I think she was great. Yeah. And she's been fighting for this victory, for this first place for quite a while. Last year,
She's only been fighting for a year. She turned pro last year. Stop it. So Gina.
No, yes, but wait. But last year she got second here at the EMPRO, and it was a good fight with Nadia. So I think she deserves it.
So you had Romana or Martina winning?
Oh, I had Romana initially, but I'm still happy for Martina. At the end of the day, she looked great. Yeah.
What do you think, Gina? You saw it from home.
Yes. So, I actually had Romana winning. Martina has a great physique, but the conditioning just wasn't there. So, now we're looking at competition as to what was the deciding factor. Was it symmetry and aesthetics? I mean, because I think Romana has the aesthetics. Symmetry, okay, legs need to come up. So her top to bottom symmetry is not quite there, but her conditioning was significantly better than Martina's. So, it's interesting to see this trend where, it used to be conditioning was the end all and be all, and conditioning was a deciding factor. I don't think that's happening this year. I think we're starting to see more aesthetics or potentially might be taking a higher placing or ranking over the conditioning right now. So, kudos, congrats, but I still think that conditioning wise, I would love to see her bring a much tighter package for Olympia. And arguably even dryness wasn't quite on, given the conditioning was so off.
What do you think, Hagit? You were very punished at your last show in Portugal, where you didn't bring the condition because of some factors, and you placed much lower than you ever done. Based on
Romania, man.
So what do you think about this then? If this conditioning, you got punished with other athletes getting a reward in the same condition. What's your opinion on that?
I couldn't argue because it was my worst shape ever on stage. So I took the punish like on myself. But as I see that sometimes I'm not lucky that in my competition, when I'm competing, they rating more the conditioning, and when I'm not,
Oh, yeah. You should have stepped on stage on
I'm
Sunday
not
then.
lucky.
No, it was JB. We it sound like we've getting a lot of negative critiques, but we got to say this was a great event
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
women's bodybuilding because we have so few show. We have a lot of shows actually now, but we have so few athletes there. So when we see the athletes, we get excited because women's bodybuilding, it's a completely different ball game than bikini and wellness and all this. And JB, Martina, she turned pro last year. She never really nailed the condition, so we were like, we like her as a person. She has a beautiful physique, but we were like, she made the Olympia. She's going to the Olympia, JB.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's going to the Olympia, JB,
Yeah.
and she wasn't even on. JB, talk to us. Great times for her and her coach Brandon Ray there. It's this has got to be exciting, JB, and now she has a lot of time to improve that condition for the Olympia.
I definitely she will do that. I think and you mentioned it. There will be a team Brandon Ray against other teams. You know what I mean? And yeah, but I think she will do it because now she has. I think also switch a little bit mind because she was last year. She had her preparation on being on the size, on the shape, and so on, but not on the condition like we saw on this weekend. But it worked out for her, I think, and now she can just bring it on to the point to Olympia. So I think she will do it because she has not enough time. So and
Claudio, how do you think Tiana Flex is feeling? Because she didn't get the visa for the show, and you know she would have. How do you think Tiana Flex is
it was
feeling?
the visa was the issue, but she's doing Portugal, right?
Yeah, but
So
there is Alicione. That's going to be very good, and she can probably win it. But
not only there's going to be that new Colombian girl at
Amazona,
yeah. So it's going to be interesting competition. Tiana, I think, I mean, I've seen her in the live stream at the Triple O, I think she did, and she looked incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. Yeah, she could have. I mean, it was. I think Chelsea won that, wasn't it? I think.
No,
yeah.
Chelsea was fourth, but third.
Oh no, who won that one?
Celica.
Oh, Celica. Oh yeah, of course. Celica.
But anyway,
well,
come back
unbeatable.
Well, anyway, JB, I said you said 10 minutes. Gina, quickly, before we go to Hogget, Gina, talk to us quickly. Where can they get coaching with you guys? Because I know you guys are running an all-female coaching platform.
Yes, so we're Team 4 Pro Coaching. So it's Hella Trevino, Irene Anderson, and myself. And we're obviously all women athletes, coaches. Collectively, I think it's something like 60 years of experience when we put it all together.
Wow.
And we focus predominantly on female athletes. So experience when it comes to competition, experience when it comes to coaching, and we collectively help each other with each other's clients too. So you're not just getting one coach, you're getting the brains and the experience and the knowledge of all three of us combined together.
Hogget, when will we see you on stage again? And tell us a little bit about when will be the next event in Israel for bodybuilding.
Hopefully you're gonna see me in Germany in September. If the situation in my country will allow it. And the same for the next show that I will promote. I'm still waiting for approval to do it in maybe early October or late September.
And right you also have a coaching thing in your gym. Where can people, if the borders ever open to Israel again, where can we go and train and get huge?
In my gym is a special gym for bodybuilding. All the bodybuilders in my country, the leading one are training at my gym. it's very huge. It's a 1,000 meters square with a lot of machines and equipment, and it's very recommended to come when you visit in Israel.
Best gym in Israel, for sure.
That's the best gym.
Yeah.
You've seen the equipment, and the equipment looks
Yes.
tremendous.
Yeah.
Claudio, where can people go if they want to leave the female bodybuilding train and go to another channel? Where can they go?
You can come to Hardcore Female Bodybuilding.
JB, say something inspirational before we go.
Inspirational. Okay, I can just tell. I was just finishing editing the routine of Martina Lopez, and I was very inspired because all the crowd was cheering in Alicante. They really feel bodybuilding in the whole width of this. What is the sport all about? You also you mentioned when you see walking down when Martina or somewhere else. Was just in bikini or in just in shorts. They were shouting and cool stuff. Yeah, come on. And so this was it's Alicante. It's such a great event with the people, with the promoters, with the audience. Claudio,
Totally great event.
Okay, and so next year, or when you have the chance, go to Alicante, and then in October come to Hagit's NPC show, and also get coaching from the Team 4 Pros with Helle, Irene, and Gina. And
okay, JB, that was a good, goodbye, emotional story. I'm gonna give mine, and the girls can give me one more. But I hope the girls don't get too offended when they watch this, because Hagit and Gina was going all in. And then, second of all, I'm looking forward to Portugal. It's gonna be great. We got a great bodybuilding action this summer. It's got a lot of great shows. Atlanta, Chicago. And then I'm looking forward to see Hagit in the best ever shape in Germany. She's promised us she will bring her best ever condition. So we're going to get into that top 3 because JB and myself, obviously, we're going. Claudio too. And I hope for all the guys who are watching at home, because it's only men, sadly. I hope you look at these girls on screen when you see the muscles, and then you go to the gym yourself, and you inject the hormones, and you eat the food, and you get inspired by the girls, and use this as a motivation, because in that way, you have a much bigger chance of them answering your DM. And Gina, say something before we go.
I want them to go to the gym and inject the hormones too. Yeah.
And Hagit, before we go, final words.
Just go to the gym. Go to the fucking gym.
Go to the gym. JB?
Go gym.
No, we are out. Yeah.
Out.
Thanks, guys.
A lot of thank you to EMPRO and of course Team 4 Pro. Thank you very much.
Our coaching comes with side effects.